Hey everybody, in this video I'll discuss why Bulgaria is one of the most unhappiest countries in the world. Bulgaria has ranked as one of the most unhappiest countries in the world according to some quality of life rankings for the past 30 years or so. So I'll discuss 8 reasons why Bulgaria is one of the unhappiest countries in the world. The first reason I think is because Bulgarians don't have a sense of control of their lives. I think that has to do with the political system and the entire kind of governance in Bulgaria. Although Bulgaria is a democracy, Bulgaria is still governed by kind of special interests, oligarchs, and also mafia type organizations and structures that, although people might try to do something about the system or certain issues, they remain unresolved. For example, corruption is widespread in Bulgaria. Also, the judicial system is not working so well. Either cases don't get resolved, or they get, or it takes a very long time for cases to be resolved. Corruption and bribery is widespread. And that has to do with the fact that the system is not enforced, it doesn't work well. So Bulgarians feel like, there's been a lot of protests in this decade about this, but at the end, I feel not much has resolved. I think some things might have improved, but I think the foundation problems have not been resolved yet. So that's the first reason. The second reason is I think Bulgaria is still in a transition period from communism. Bulgaria's communism ended in 1989 with the rest of Eastern Europe. So I think although Bulgaria is a democracy and it's a market economy, the 45 years of communist rule have still effects in Bulgaria, and there's a lot of kind of after effects. Some foreigners mention that Bulgarians don't take initiative, or don't work as team players or something like this. So I think that has to do with the communist legacy. This is kind of quite different from the West. The third reason why I think Bulgarians are unhappy in general is because of we have a very high, I think, historic burden. Bulgaria was under the Ottoman Empire for 5 centuries, and extraordinary atrocities and crimes have been committed during that period, which in general makes people kind of, when they study about it or they read about it, it makes them mad or it makes them unhappy. So in some newer countries, like for example the United States or other countries maybe like Australia, which are very new compared to Bulgaria, people usually don't, I shouldn't say they don't pay attention to history, but they're not burdened by it to such extent as in Bulgaria. And this has to do also with the world wars. Bulgaria was on the losing side of both World War I and World War II, and as a result of that, Bulgaria lost a lot of territory, lost a lot of people. There was a lot of devastation. So all of that has contributed to the economic and personal state of people, I think, even to this day. The next one is kind of related to that. Bulgaria's history has been always, especially in the early days, intertwined with the Byzantine Empire. We've always fought wars with them. We always, there was always conflict, and there was of course there are wars. All countries experience different wars, but I think some countries have more peaceful history than Bulgaria, and also most countries don't have big adversaries like Bulgaria. You know, Bulgaria, actually the way Bulgaria was formed was we defeated the Byzantine Empire, and we gained our territory from them. But ever since that time, you know, this was back in the 7th century, there were other wars later on. So with probably one of the greatest world powers, you know, so Bulgaria always had big adversaries, so that might have impacted Bulgaria's psyche long term. Another thing that I think is impacting Bulgarian happiness is the high expectations. In general, I think Bulgarians don't have realistic expectations of things. You know, we always, a lot of Bulgarians are very educated and very intelligent, but I feel we always hope for the best. We don't expect the worst. We always hope for the best and expect the best. But in reality, is maybe we get something good, but we always expected the best, so we're disappointed. So I think one major reason is that we don't have the right expectations of things. Another reason why I think Bulgaria might be unhappy is because we compare ourselves to more developed countries and richer countries. You know, a lot of Bulgarians actually have no idea what it's like to be in the West, what it's like to live in the West or work in the West, although probably close to 2 million Bulgarians are now overseas. But I think in general, if you're a Bulgarian living in Bulgaria and you watch movies, or you watch Western commercials, or you watch, you know, or you see advertisings of Western products, you feel like, wow, you know, they live such a perfect life and have such a nice lifestyle, when in reality, you know, it's living in the West is not easy either. You know, it's actually depending on your situation, it can be bad, even worse than Bulgaria. So people in general, I think, probably don't have the right information and right understanding of what it's like to be in the West, what it's like to live and work in the West. So that has to do with expectations and reality and really experience. Another thing, and the last 8 reason why I think Bulgarians and Bulgaria might not be so happy is because of it's kind of related to the previous one. It has to do with marketing and perception and business development. In general, Bulgarian companies are not as developed as the Western ones, and the Western ones have very good marketing and advertising departments, and they portray Western companies, products, and the countries themselves to be kind of more better, I think, than they actually are, or maybe they concentrate on the positive. So if you live in Bulgaria, you feel like you see more positive things about the West than what the reality is. So your perception of the West is kind of skewed. You know, you don't really see the negative, you only see positive. So you feel like, wow, you know, I really don't live in such a good country. You know, our advertising is not so good, our pictures or videos don't look so good, so it must be worse than in the West. So these are the reasons why I think Bulgaria is not so happy compared to, or feels that they're not so happy compared to other countries. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions, please let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.